In May 1977, George Lucas introduced us to his telling of the oldest storyline in the world, that versus good versus evil, with his breakout film of Star Wars. When the movie opened, my parents took my sister and I to go see it in Salt Lake City. There I was, a 2-year-old boy, sitting in my very first movie theater, about to be introduced to a brand new lifelong obsession. I was only 2 years old, so I don't recall the experience, but my mother used to love to tell me how big my eyes would get during the cantina scene in particular, as I took in all the new alien species and everything else that had happened in the movie. This was in the 80s. VCRs were brand new, so when we finally bought our family VCR, we were each allowed to purchase one movie. I, of course, chose Star Wars, and the tape actually wore out very quickly, and I think I gave my parents and my sister Star Wars fatigue for as many times as I insisted that we had watched it. I still remember going to see Return of the Jedi with my cousins and a very brave uncle who had volunteered to take us. I'll never forget how the film broke just as Darth Vader descended down the ramp at the beginning of the movie. It's a cherished memory with me and my cousins, and we still frequently talk about it today with our uncle. There have been a lot of movie franchises over the years, and there have only been two that have truly had an impact on my life. The first, of course, is Star Wars, with 7 saga movies, 1 standalone film, with 2 more movies, The Last Jedi, which will be out in just a couple of weeks, and the Han Solo origin film titled Solo, which has been directed by acclaimed Hollywood director Ron Howard, which will be out next May. There have also been 2 CGI series, Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, which will actually end its 4-year run sometime early next year. There's also been announcements from Disney that a new live-action TV show will be produced for their upcoming streaming service in the next couple of years, and that there are several other movies that are all in various states of development that will ensure that we have many more exciting adventures to go in the decades to come. With all of its success, there have been some misses also. There were 2 made-for-TV movies about the Ewoks from Return of the Jedi, a Saturday morning cartoon based upon R2-D2 and C-3PO called Droids, and we try our best to forget that infamous 1978 Star Wars holiday special that George Lucas has done his best to completely purge from the internet. And yes, it is truly that bad. The second franchise that has always meant a great deal to me has been the James Bond franchise. A lot of that is because of my father. This is one of the things that we did together as I got older. We would always go see the new Bond movies when they came out. We'd also sit and watch Bond marathons together, spend quite a bit of time discussing the franchise and the characters, and we also enjoyed reading those books and comparing the books to the movies. While with the Bond franchise having lasted for 24 movies, with number 25 in pre-production, 6 actors spanning over 50 years, it is a very strong contender for the greatest film franchise of all time. However, it's just not family-friendly or family-appropriate, so I had to put it in second place for that reason alone. From 1977 through 1983, Lucas produced the original trilogy, and after 1983's Return of the Jedi, he told us that that would be the final movie. The story of the Skywalkers had been complete. Around 1997, after the release of the original movies to the movie theaters in a special edition format, he announced that he was producing a prequel trilogy which would explain how Darth Vader became the big bad guy. Another 3 movies were made, and after 2005's Revenge of the Sith, we were once again told that the Skywalker saga is complete. Now, the best thing that's ever happened to Star Wars was in 2012 when Mr. Lucas sold it to Disney, and Disney immediately began working on the movies, including the production of another trilogy. This time telling us that really the Skywalker saga will be complete. Famed Star Wars superfan director J.J. Abrams was hired to direct the first of the movies, and in 2015, myself, along with my generation of 40-year-olds, we all became 8 years old again when we saw the first trailer for The Force Awakens. Once it was released, it became a huge hit, and according to the website boxofficemojo.com, the first two Disney-produced Star Wars films, The Force Awakens and Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, rank in the top 25 of box office financial successes of all time. The reason I say the best thing for the franchise is that Disney bought them. It has brought fresh ideas, new imagination, and a new generation of storytellers to fill in the gaps of that galaxy far, far away. A critical error that Lucas has made in the prequel trilogy was that he became too dependent on special effects at the expense of the stories that were being told. One of the first decisions that J.J. Abrams had made was to shoot The Force Awakens on actual film rather than just digitally as episodes 2 and 3 were. He did his best to set the tone for the new Disney-era movies by visually matching them up with the original movies as much as possible. As Star Wars continues to grow in popularity, it has become more mature with the storytelling while staying true to the original concept of good versus evil. I think it's amazing to watch my nieces and nephews grow up with the Star Wars stories, to experience a shared childhood memory with their parents from different generations. Each year on May the 4th, Star Wars fans celebrate Star Wars Day and they celebrate by watching movies, some of the TV series, and do anything else to pay homage to the movie franchise that has given so many of us hope that good will always triumph over evil. On December 15th, the next installment will be released in the United States. Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, will become an instant hit. It will join its two predecessors on the top 25 list. I encourage you to go see it. But before you do, take some time to invite Luke, Han, and Leia back into your life and allow yourself to travel to that galaxy far, far away.